Next block up is the dip at the end of the ceremony. We're going to do some corner pieces on this. So let's get going. Okay, so step one, we're going to go to My Design Center. We're going to scan in our image so we can design on top of it. That's what the image scan is for. Oh, it says I need to put down my lock. Scan. Okay. Okay, here we go. We are going to put corner pieces on this one. So I'm going to darken this up so we can see what we're doing. But this is a good one for corner pieces because this is the crowd. I don't really care about the crowd. Here's just the floor. So some corner pieces for quilting this one would be something different and would be really cute. So I'm going to go into shapes. I'm going to go to the second shapes here. And I'm going to get these because these I can put a fill pattern in if I want because they're closed shapes. So I'm going to choose 9 and say okay. And then I'm going to size it down to fit in my photo block. And we'll see how we like it. I'll move this over. Might make this just a little bit bigger. Bring it down. I think I'm going to take it back down a little bit because while this machine says that it is very accurate, unless it is immaculately clean from any embroidery designs or any settings, a lot of times it isn't that accurate. Okay. Now, what I'm looking at here is it looks like it's over her hair. So I don't know. Here, let's see if we move it over this way a little bit. That probably looks good. So let's see if we say okay and we click off. Will it let us move them separately? So if I choose my selection tool and I'm just going to plant my finger and I'm going to draw a box around those two shapes and it will. So now I'm going to come into rotate because there's a move there. And I'm going to move these out. Okay. And then I'm going to say okay. Now, this one is just a little bit big, which makes them all a little bit big. We can make that one a little bit smaller, make them all a little bit smaller, but I don't know. I kind of like them like they are. I don't think I'm going to do anything. I think I'm going to, whoops, hit undo. Whoops, nope, hit redo. All right, so what I'm going to do is I might shrink this one just a smidge and see how I like it. Okay, so I'm going to go to selection. I'm going to draw a square around this. I'm going to come to size. And I'm going to shrink it just ever so slightly because I really don't think that we will be able to tell that they're different sizes. Okay, now if you wanted to shrink them all the same size, I'm going to hit undo. Okay, so then what I could do is I could select all of them and I could come to size and I could shrink them down a little bit like this. Say okay, go back to selection, choose these, and let's move them over. All right, and okay, let's choose them separately now. So if I come back to selection and choose my magic wand, I can choose one. And then I can either use my finger to move it, but it's so hard to get it in the right place with your finger that I'm going to choose to use my arrows. It just works better for me. You can see what works better for you. Say okay, then back to my selection, magic wand, choose this one, and back into size. I'm going to move it up and over. Try to get it off of her hair as much as I can so they're the main focal point. And say okay, back to selection tool, choose this one, size, because that's where my move buttons are, and back up. Okay, then okay, back to selection tool, choose this bottom one, size, only because the move is under it and they don't have a separate move key. So we have to go under size or rotate to get to a move key. All right, I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to click off. That shows me where this is. If I darken it up, I can see that that looks pretty good as far as framing them. And if you still don't think it's too big, then you can shrink it more if you want. But I'm going to fill these now with something. So let's come into our fill pattern. Come into here, select, and let's see, what could we fill that with? That would be cute. Maybe these little flowers. Let's see how that looks. There's a small pattern, so that might work. And then say, let's do green and say okay. All right. First thing I want to do actually is I want to take these and I would change this to a line stitch. Okay. So I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to do a double and I'm going to do red so I can see it and okay. Then I'm going to touch my paint bucket. Then I'm going to apply this stitch to these lines. How I do that is I touch the paint bucket and then I touch the line and the line turns red. Okay. Then I can touch my paint bucket on my fill properties and I can fill each of these little corners like this. Okay. So then I can say next. And I think that looks really good. I mean, I wish they were a little bit further over, but I still think this is going to be really cute. We'll see on the finished, and you can learn from my mistakes if you don't like it. Okay, so I am going to do a light, oh wait, nope. I'm going to lock these together. So I see a fill stitch here. So I want everything that has this fill stitch locked together. Do you see how the 4 squares went around the 4 different patterns? Okay, so now I'm going to come in here and say I want a light fill stitch. And they all change together. Okay? Then if we want to, we can change the line. Go to, you see the line. I can lock all of those together. And I could take this up to 0.10 like I've been doing and say okay. And it would change all of those at the same time. Okay, then I'm going to put it in the memory on the USB just in case something is wrong. And I'm going to say set and okay. All right. Now I'm going to go to embroidery and I'm going to do the projector. And I'm just going to do like we have in the last 2 videos. If you didn't watch the last 2 videos, I walked through that. I'm just going to come over here. I'm going to put the box around this and look and make sure that it looks like it's in the right place, and it is. Over here. It's in the right spot. Down. It's in the right spot. That's in the right spot. And I'm going to say, okay, so I am ready to stitch. So I'll stitch this out and then I will show you the end result. I like it. I may want to go add some stripes in between here. I don't know, I'll think about that. I'm going to take a break for dinner and decide what I want to do, but I was very pleased with how it turned out. Very cute.